What is going on, all you card collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan with the 40-Year-Old Collector. So tonight we're going to be doing part two of my five-part series where I wake up in this apocalyptic world and all of my football cards are gone. Now, I've been collecting PSA graded football cards for almost 20 years now. So besides a straitjacket and a padded room, I'm gonna need a little coin to get started over again. In video one, I started over with $100. Tonight, I'm starting over with $500. I got $1,000, $3,000, and $5,000 video, which are all coming out shortly as well. So tonight we're gonna go through three different builds with that $500, right? We're gonna look at one build, it's a little more vintage, a little more greatest of all time flavored. Then we're gonna look at another build, which has fewer cards, but more premium, more high dollar cards. And then third, why not screw around and drop a modern build? So we're gonna see what kind of modern cards we can get for $500 if we decided to start over that way. We got a ton of stuff to unpack, so let's get after it right now. Who do we have up first? Boom. As I said, I'm a vintage guy, but if I have $500 to rebuild my card portfolio, I am starting with this guy right here. This is not only a once in a generational talent, but he could possibly be the most dominant defensive player to ever play the game. Some will argue that, which they should. There have been some amazing defensive players, but Aaron Donald is just a man among boys on the football field. The guy is a beast. This is his 2014 Topps Chrome rookie card in PSA 10, pop 418. You know, that number's going to increase a little bit, but I think it's pretty steady. You know, he's got the name brand. He's got the, people aren't going to suddenly find them in their closet. I think a lot of these cards have already been graded. It'll probably stay under a pop 600. Obviously none higher. This is a PSA 10. And you can get this card of an all-time great, guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer for $65. I don't care what you're collecting. I don't care if you're into baseball, basketball, football, tiddlywinks, wrestling. Doesn't matter. You should have this card in your collection. This card is going to skyrocket someday. I guarantee it. Aaron Donald, love that card. Great first ad. Speaking of all-time greats, possibly the most dominant at their position, why don't we get Mr. Emmitt Smith out here? All right. In my eye, this guy only has two things working against him. Number one, he was a Florida Gator. Number two, he was a Dallas Cowboy. Don't flood my comments with hates or whatever, Not a huge Cowboys fan. Certainly not a huge Gator fan. If you notice the colors of my slideshow, I'm a Tennessee fan. Go Vols. I bleed orange and white. But love Emmitt Smith. Love the player. Love the card. This is a beautiful card. And a 9, it's got a ton of eye appeal. I have a 9 in my collection right now. It's got a high population, almost 5,000 of them in circulation. But because of the greatness of the player, there's always going to be tons of value in this PSA 9. And again, because of the greatness of the player, you have a whole bunch of tannins out there as well. In the 90 score supplemental, there are a lot of these that were still sealed. So a lot of these were unsealed when everybody realized that this was the true Emmitt Smith rookie card that was going to be in all of the PSA set registries. And a ton of them got graded. So I bought it, I think, maybe 15 years ago. And I got it for, we'll say $30. I think it was 20 something. And now it's up to $135. So I probably bought it 15 years ago. That's a little over 10% annualized return per year. When you invest in the all-time greats, when you invest in their rookie cards, when you invest in the specific rookie card that's in these PSA sets, I guarantee you they will go up in value. No question. Love this card. Think it's a great addition to this $500 build. Speaking of all-time greats, let's bring in one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time, Mike Singletary. Love this card. I think it's very iconic. The 83 top set was great. You can't say much that hasn't been said about this Bears defense. They were just absolutely uncontrollably good back in the day. Again, not a hard card to find in a good grade, but we only have $500. Happy to hold a mint 9. I think that's a great grade. Population almost 1,100, 122 higher. It's actually not a ton higher. When you think about there being 1,100 9s out there and there's only 122 10s out there, you're going to pay a mint if you want to go ahead and get a 10. So happy to hold the 9. Like I said, I'm not looking to upgrade anytime soon, and you can get it for less than $100. So less than 20% of our overall budget is spent getting one of the all-time greatest linebackers in a PSA Mint 9. Love this card. Love the addition to this build. I think that's one of the greatest ads in this set. So what else do we got here? Andre Reed. I added this card because I think they are beautiful. I love these 1986 tops. They've got Andre Reed's rookie card in there. You got Jerry Rice's rookie card in there. You got Bruce Smith's rookie card in there. You have Steve Young's first an NFL rookie card. He has a USFL card, which is his true rookie card according to the set registries and stuff. But this has Steve Young's first card. Great set. Super hard to find in high grade because of the green borders, and it had some centering issues too. But Andre Reed was an absolute beast at wide receiver. Pop 902, that's kind of high for a 9, especially with a card with all of these challenges. But then when you get to the 10, there's only 71 10s out there. Okay? That's because super difficult set to get in high grade. Happy to hold a 9. I'll probably hold a 9 forever in this card. Again, I just love the way it looks. Think it's a great addition, and the fact that you can get it for $60 is an absolute steal. Absolute steal. All right, what do we got next? If you watched my first video on a $100 build, I had this card in there as well. I've got it in my $100 build. I got it in my $500 build, and that's because it has so much value. I won't spend a ton of time on it because I already talked about it. But when you think of a PSA 9 mint for an NFL Hall of Fame rookie player with only a pop of 319 and only a pop of 21 higher, $25 is breaking the law. It's stealing. I promise you, go out, get this. Even if you don't want to add it to your set, it's a great addition to a youngster's set. Great card, tons of value in it. I would add this any day of the week or night. And then finally, one of the coolest things when I first started collecting was, I talked about it in my first video, I had a 1981 Topps Joe Montana, which gave me this superstar value. It was easy for me to talk to people about. But one of the other cards that I picked up was a 1955 Len Ford rookie. Okay, it was a PSA 8 OC. I didn't even know what OC meant. But when I held it in my hand and I realized I was not just holding a card, but I was holding a piece of history. The card was from 1955. It had beautiful corners, beautiful color. Sure, it was off center, but it was just a beautiful card. So old. It got me excited about the hobby. It got me excited about vintage, got me excited about learning about players of yesteryear. And again, I viewed it as much of a piece of American history as anything else. So I couldn't have a $500 build without a piece of history in it. This 1955 Topps All-American set is an absolutely iconic set in all football in general. It's got a Four Horsemen card, which is absolutely iconic. It has a Jim Thorpe card in it, which is absolutely iconic. I love the Fats Henry card. I love this Bruiser Kennard. Like, what a cool card to give to somebody, Bruiser Kennard. And this is in a PSA 7, which is an absolutely fantastic grade for 1955. Pop 150, only 138 higher. You can pick this up for $120. $120 for a near mint card from 1955, no qualifiers. Love this card. I think you give this to somebody, gives them the opportunity to research the history. It's a win all the way around. Love it. Here we go. So that's it. That's my $500 build. I wake up in this alternate universe of terror. My whole collection's gone. I have $500 to start over again. I'm going with that Aaron Donald, one of the greatest of all time. I think that's a highly undervalued card. I'm adding that PSA 10. I'm grabbing that Emmitt Smith PSA 9. Beautiful card. One of the greatest of all time. Will only continue to appreciate in value. Mike Singletary, same thing. One of the greatest linebackers of all time and one of the greatest defenses of all time. Curtis Martin, a card that I think has tons of value. I don't know if or when it will ever be unlocked, but I'll be shocked if it doesn't somehow pop someday because of all the value that's in it. Andre Reed, great card, great set, great player. Love to have it in this $500 build. And then the vintage. Bruiser Kennard, adding a 1955 Topps with a PSA 7 in there. I mean, if you just look at these cards put together, it just looks like a beautiful start to a set. Different eras, different colors, different players of different positions. I was really happy with this, and I put a ton of time trying to build out this $500 set. So here's how I would get started. But as I promised, it's not just about this one. There's other ways to skin a cat. So let's see this other one I have here. A premium build. Okay, let's say you say, hey Ryan, I got $500. I don't want 7 cards. I want the best of the best. Well, I thought a lot about it and I landed on these 2 cards. For me, this is what I would buy. Dan Marino, 1984 Topps, PSA 9. I know the population's through the roof, but Dan Marino's a friggin' legend. His card holds so much value. I used to buy this card for $50 back in the day in a PSA 9 mint. I remember thinking it was crazy if you had to spend a couple hundred for a Gem Mint 10. It's popping off right now for $350. 403 higher, again, you're looking thousands of dollars now if you want to get a PSA 10 Gem Mint. So get the 9, be happy to hold it, $350. I guarantee it's going to appreciate over time. Love that Dan Marino card. Bruce Smith, we already talked about the iconicness of the 1986 top set, all the great players that are in that. Look at the face too. That's what I love about this card too, is he just looks so mean and so serious in there. Bruce Smith, everybody knows who he is, NFL all-time sack leader, Pop 596, only 37 10s in the world. You can pick this up for $165. I know, it's a little over $500, but be stingy, make it under $500. You can make it happen. I believe in you. So if I'm doing a premium build, this is where I'm starting. I got one of the greatest defensive ends of all time. I got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Happy to add this as a beginning collection. I would be just as happy to do this as I was with the other 7. So, great premium build right here. Next, let's talk ultra modern. Those of you who have watched all my videos and listened to me talk know that it's not that I'm not a huge ultra modern person. It's just I only have so much money to spend. And in order to be effective, I have to figure out where my focus is. And ultra modern is not my focus. It doesn't mean I don't love the cards and I don't love the players. I think they're awesome. I've started dabbling more into future NFL Hall of Fame players. And, I'm having fun with it. It's great to watch players on Sunday where you have cards of and you're cheering for them, not just because you want the team to win, but because you want them to throw up some numbers. So here's what I would do with my $500 build ultra modern. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, 2 young quarterbacks. I think one of them will do great. I'm telling you right now, one of the risks with ultra modern, and both of these cards are going through this right now, is Joe Burrow made it to the Super Bowl and his cards spiked. They went through the roof. Guess what? Not doing that great this year. If you look at a chart of his card prices, it's down and to the right. Again, no investment is always up and to the right, but he's going through a rough patch right now. He's super young. Is he going to bounce back? I don't know. He's got all the talent. He's got all the tools. He's got a great team. He's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He's got Boyd. He's got a lot of weapons on his side, but it seems like they can't protect him. So if they can't protect him, he's not going to be a great quarterback. So there's a lot of risk involved in that. Same thing with Herbert. Preseason, Herbert's cards were selling for tons of money leading up to the season. Week 1, week 2, he was blowing up. Tons of money. He's cooled off. He's new. So now his cards down and to the right. Again, he's got all the talent in the world. He's got a decent defense. Like, he can bounce back. But those of you who bought at the high, you better be on that Herbert train, really hoping that he does well. I added Tyreek Hill here because I think the guy's a Hall of Famer. I think he needs to put up a couple decent seasons. I think he has enough. He's done enough where longevity now will get him in. But he's with the Dolphins. Tua's been blowing it up with him, even with Tua out with some concussions. Tyreek still was putting up 150 yards per game. The guy's just going to continue to do big things as long as he stays with the Dolphins, and as long as Tua stays healthy. I think Tyreek Hill gets into the Hall of Fame, no problem. So if I was doing this $500 build ultra modern, again, Panini Prisms are going to be the rookies to go after for all of the PSA registries. I think this is the way to go. So I got a Herbert, I got a Burrow, I got a Tyreek Hill, all in PSA 10. Another thing to call out too is look at the population on that Herbert and that Burrow. 4,600 and 5,300 PSA 10s out in the world. And I promise you, they haven't finished submitting them. How high is it going to finish? 5,000, 6,000, 7,000? I don't know. But a lack of scarcity sure doesn't help value. So again, to each their own, and I'm going to finish with this since I'm kind of on a hating modern trend there, which I don't want to do. Collect what makes you happy, right? There's a lot of different modern cards out there. I picked these modern cards because these are the ones that I think are going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame registry further down the road, and that's what I collect. There's all kinds of parallels and inserts and autographs and rookie on-card autos, and there's just so much stuff out there. There's vintage stars, common cards, base cards, parallels, you name it. You can collect any and everything nowadays, which is what makes the hobby of collecting so exciting. You find what you love, you get fired up about it, collect it, show it off. I have a giant thing at my house, a big glass case where I keep all of my cards in. Anybody who comes to my house for the first time, one of the first things that they do is they start talking to me about my football card collection. It's a point of pride for me, and I love it. It makes me happy. Always collect what you love. So thanks for watching this video. We got the $1,000 build coming up, which I'm gonna have to put some work into because that's really it's kind of challenging for me to figure out what we're gonna put in that $1,000 build. But again, it's gonna be a ton of fun. So have a great day. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like, hit that bell, and happy collecting, everybody. Thanks.